Selection dilemma. Now, there's a phrase that Manchester United fans haven't heard for a long time, but that's what's facing Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim today in the Premier League clash at Old Trafford against Everton. How does he replace certain players that are doing a job for him right now while giving chance and time to players that we all want to see back in the side as well? We have dilemmas in every single position on the pitch. Some good, some bad. Mainly good, though, right now. We're going to be talking about Kobbie Mainoo today and where he fits into this Manchester United side. Looking ahead to the game in general as well, getting your opinions, your thoughts, how you feel the game is going to go. Early kickoff today, don't forget everybody, 1:30 in England. We're not on normal TV, so good luck finding a stream, good luck finding whatever you can all over. Don't forget, me and Jay will be back after the game, after the City-Liverpool game later on with the breakdown show as well. But we have plenty to talk about ahead of this game. The road trip won't be here today because it's so close to the game, so we're going to do everything all in one show. We're looking ahead, we're picking a team, we're thinking of different formations, who the threats are for Everton, and of course, who are going to be bagging Man United goals as we get the win today. And we finally climb that table that's at the bottom of your screen there into the top 10. Please, let's just get into that top 10. A win today takes us there no matter what happens elsewhere. It does. We at least get into 10th spot and we go into the black. And by that I mean we go into plus goal difference. Finally, please just get there. It's been an absolute slog. It's like a marathon trying to get Manchester United into positive goal difference, isn't it? It's there, it's not. We just get there towards the back end of the line. We trip up. And oh, yeah. No, today's the day, I feel. I'm very confident that United can get the win. I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but I think United can get the win. What Ruben Amorim does with his side, that's a different conversation altogether. Merry Christmas, by the way, everybody. You can see the FUTV tree is up. I forgot all about that. We've got a bit of old school 80s tinsel going on there as well in the background. May add some little bits as we go along through the months and dress it up a little bit. But it is full on Christmas time, isn't it, here right now? 1st of December, fixtures piling up. I can hear the rain outside. It's exactly what we expected of Manchester Christmas time. But we've got a game to talk about. We've got a lot to get through as well in terms of who we think is going to play after what Ruben Amorim said in the weekend. Resting, rotation, giving players a chance, recovery time, walking football, all of that. Who plays today? Everton fully fresh. No game in midweek, obviously. United dealing with European football. Is that going to determine how Ruben Amorim selects his side? I can think of 4 changes personally myself that are definitely going to happen. I think there will be different personnel in this Manchester United side this weekend. I'll go through all of them, what I think is going to change up on that team that started against Bodo Glimt anyway. And one of them, I don't know, I'm stuck, and I'll get your opinions on this. We'll get into that as well. But please do get your comments in on how you would select, how you would approach this game and what team you would select. Get your comments in on your goal scorers who you're looking forward to seeing, who needs a big game for you today as well. Get into the live chat, everybody. Have some fun in there. It is Christmas time now, and Manchester United's fixtures are not easy, so we're going to have to entertain ourselves and keep ourselves positive, I feel, because I think this is the last chance today. Obviously, we've got a high-flying Arsenal who've just scored 10 goals in their last 2 games. We've got them away on Wednesday, and that could be the rude awakening. Speaking of rude awakenings, sorry, Van Nistelrooy, that was a bit of a baptism of fire for Leicester and his first day in charge yesterday. So, yeah, let's hope that we're not on the end of one of them ourselves. We need to build some confidence, and today I think is important for Manchester United in installing what we got against Bodo Glimt, working on top of that, and adapting to what Ruben Amorim wants in this team. There is, I feel, I think there's a lot of optimism in the air. I think we have got a positive vibe going around at the moment around Manchester United, but obviously results determine the mood and can obviously bring it straight back down. I'm looking at Kobbie Mainoo today as probably the one player and one situation that Ruben Amorim has to not sort out or adjust or deal with. I think it's a great problem. That's why we've got a bit of a selection dilemma, I feel. It's like, where does he fit in? Who drops out? When you're looking at the calibre of player in that side, and this is why I call it a dilemma. So, for instance, let's just call out the positions that we feel Kobbie Mainoo could play in. I would say 6, 8, 10 or 10. 4 positions. One of the 10s, if you want to call that 2 positions available, either side of the striker, and you've got the 2 midfielders behind. He is going to be a 3-4-3. Where does Kobbie fit in? We obviously know where he can play. We know what positions he can play in. Do we have to accept that Kobbie is a bench player? Is he too good to be on the bench? Get these comments coming in, everybody, because when you look at the players that are in situ, say for instance from Thursday night when Manchester United set up against Bodo Glimt, good win for United, impressive second half, dominated the game, certain issues here and there, but overall very, very positive. 74% possession, dominating the game. Obviously that means that we had good control in midfield, especially in the second half. So where does Kobbie fit in? How do we get him into the side? I look at 6, Agate, I'm sorry, you're not dropping him, are you? You're definitely not dropping him. You look at the 10 situation, now this is where it gets interesting, because you've got fresh players who he said he's going to rotate. So fresh, what does that mean? Fresh, I'm looking at Casemiro. I'm looking at Christian Eriksen. Mason Mount only got 60 minutes, by the way. And just so you've got my opinion clear from the start here, I'm not dropping Mason Mount either. I don't think he deserves to be dropped. So then you're looking at Garnacho. I think this is the game he comes out. And you know what? This may seem crazy. This may seem like a bit of a shout. But I feel like Kobbie Mainoo will play ahead of Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Agate. Kobbie, Mount, Højlund. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? It really does. But I'm trying to think how he gets these players in. If he's going to freshen it up and Kobbie's going to get game time. Look, Kobbie might start on the bench. Let's just put that out there. He could do. And you could have Bruno up there with Mount behind Højlund. Casemiro may come back in alongside Agate. We may get Eriksen. I don't think we're going to see Eriksen personally. I don't think he's going to come into the side. I think he'll be off the bench. I think it's quite clear that... I'm not saying he cannot play this Ruben Amorim system, but in terms of demands and intensity, I think Eriksen, we have to accept he's going to be a bit part player. I mean, he could start like he did against Ipswich, but he will be subbed off quite quickly, I think. Please do hit the like button as well on the video, guys. Let's get up to that 200 live like mark if we can today, and obviously make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Hundreds of you have done that over the last 24 hours. Absolutely buzzing with that. We're on the road to 70k people, already well on the way to 64k, having just passed 63. So please do subscribe and be on that journey. Get your thoughts in. I'm just going to spin this straight out to the chat. I usually like to talk for a little bit at the start, but we're all up early. We're all looking forward to the game. I'm coming into the chat, and I want to know how you adapt this. If Kobbie's available, is there a point in this conversation where you go, he doesn't make the starting lineup? Is there a point in this? Is he that good? Or does he have to just accept that he is now like Garnacho? And we built Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo up to be these world beaters. We shouldn't have. We were forced into it because of the way that everything was going at Manchester United when they came through. We're talking up players here that really should be, as teenagers, sat on the bench, realistically. Is this what we're going to get? Obviously, we've seen players like Quenda in Sporting under Ruben Amorim get into the first team and regularly be a first-team player. But right now, I just feel like there are a lot more senior players that Ruben Amorim might look at ahead of Kobbie Mainoo. And if you've got a clean slate, you've got 3 teenagers that we're all expecting in one way or another to be part of these first-team lineups. Yoro, Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo. Should we be expecting them players to be in? Are we getting carried away with ourselves in saying that them players need to be in this side? I think we are a little bit. I really do think that this is a situation where we've got players that we built up to a point where we thought they were the next coming and superstars this football club. And realistically, when you take a step back and you come into it, how Ruben Amorim is looking at it right now, with a clean slate, just a full squad of players to select from, 11 to put out on the field on a weekend, he might not be thinking about Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo. He may be thinking about other players that we haven't seen much of. There's plenty of players that could come in and play their 2 positions. And with everyone available, maybe we will see what we should have been seeing from Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo last season. Not playing game after game after game and being relied on and put through the grinder of playing week in, week out, when they're still adapting and still filling out. And the whole progression side of things for them 2 players, I think what's the word I'm looking for right now? I think it was just interrupted. I think it was with them too. They shouldn't have been playing week in, week out. As good as they are, yes, and you can get these players through and you play them if they're good enough and all of that. But there were times when they should have been rested, and there should have been moments in last season where we shouldn't be relying solely on them players. And I love the pair of them, I do. But I think this is the opportunity now. When I'm thinking about this off camera and I'm thinking about going into this show this morning, I'm thinking, does Kobbie Mainoo actually get into this side? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's the future of this football club. But right now, do we need to thrust him back in? That's an honest question I want to put to the chat. And I'm going to come there right now. We can play Agate and Mainoo with Bruno up front. Bruno as a false nine, maybe. We will see. Kobbie can't run. Lad needs to work on his pace to fit into the system. Maybe that's why we don't bring him straight into the sides. I'm glad Amorim is not rushing to start Kobbie and Lennon. Erik ten Hag was in survival mode and was putting too much pressure on developing players. Rashford must be dropped. Mount to score today. Possible brace, says Brett. I like that one. Mainoo and Mount as the 10s and Agate and Bruno in the pivots. I've said that myself. I just did say that. I think that is a possibility. Maybe not today. Could be, like with what's available, but still, in the future, I could see that. I really could see that. Thanks everyone for the comments on the Christmas tree. I'll keep them coming in as well. Not just Kobbie's pace, but his stamina is also going to need to improve. I think with a lot of players as well. I do. I think Bruno is going to be played as a deep-lying playmaker, says Jonathan. I can see that as well. I can see Bruno adapting. We've already had conversations in press conferences about that from Ruben and Bruno himself about different positions. I think he will be the utility man to fill in a few positions as that discipline player. Now, discipline is not something that you would put down on Bruno. I definitely wouldn't, because I think he has been positionally undisciplined through games. I think that's his main problem. He's trying to do more than what he needs to do. I'm just happy that we seem to have several options and can rotate in those midfield positions. I think we need to bring Kobbie back in slowly. No player should be an automatic starter. That's from Double A. Totally agree with that, Double A. Welcome to the show, mate. I will see you at Old Trafford later on. Is Mainoo fully match fit? If he is fit, he should play. I don't even think if he's fully fit, he should play. I think he needs to take his place on the bench and fight with everybody else. Look, you got Mason Mount, you got Kobbie Mainoo, and you're selecting one of them two players right now under Amorim. And we can all say what we've seen before and the unreliability of Mason Mount and all of that, but under Amorim right now, I think them two, pretty much, I think you're struggling to pick from the pair. I think what Mason Mount did and shown in that game against Bodo Glimt, there are aspects of that Kobbie Mainoo cannot do. There definitely is. The intensity factor is one. There are things that Kobbie Mainoo does that I don't think Mason Mount could do. I really don't. I think there are two different players altogether, but both play in a very similar role in a position. I think they could both veer off into 8s. Both definitely can play 10s. And they both have that creative spark and goal-scoring ability as well. And we've seen that from both of these players. So, really, you could have two of the best young 10s, two of the best English 10s in the country right now, playing for Manchester United, supporting Rasmus Højlund there. That is an option. You could have Bruno there and then Agate. You could rotate them midfielders and number 10s to bring on Garnacho, Rashford if you needed in 10s in certain situations. Then you've got Casemiro and Eriksen to come in midfield. You've got plenty of options there, I feel. And like Double A says there, the fact that we have got players there to rotate in, freshen up, keep the intensity up, keep things moving along. Nobody is going to get caught on their toes. They could get caught on their toes and then they could be off, but nobody is going to be able to get away with just standing there and not putting the work rate in, not doing what they need to do. They're going to be off the pitch and subbed on. Like we've seen a manager this week make 5 substitutes before the 70-minute mark. That's unheard of. Like 55 minutes, he's freshening things up, Ruben Amorim. So these players now are getting used to having to absolutely bust a gut and some. Otherwise, they're off. And that's the beauty of this. When you've got players coming on at that 55-minute mark, I feel like this is a ploy from Ruben Amorim. He's basically saying, look, it's fallen off a little bit. We cannot lose the intensity in this phase of the game. But that 50 to 70-minute mark, games can be taken away from you. And then the momentum and adrenaline kicks in if you're too far behind and the game plan goes out the window. He's trying to control the game for as long as he possibly can by keeping it fresh, I feel. And I think that midfield is key for him. And I think that's where we're going to see the most changes. The biggest one out of all is the Bruno Fernandes situation. And if Bruno is going to be rotated like everybody else. I think there are players in this team that just won't get rotated. I think there are players in this team that will always play. And we all know who they are. We all know the standout players in this team right now. It's like Mazraoui, for instance. I don't think there's going to be many changes at centre-back at all. Although he did bring De Ligt off and gave him a rest for Casemiro the other day. I just feel like right now he's got his core, or a few core players, and I think the rest is on the rotation until he finds another player he thinks he can rely on in a certain position. It's like the left-hand side wing-back. Right now, I don't think he has a clue. I think that will keep on changing. I think we may see Dalot again today. I think we'll see Anthony maybe get a bit more time today. I don't think he did anything particularly bad against Bodo Glimt. We're not expecting much from him. He didn't produce much, but still had moments and energy which filled in that role. So, swig of cold coffee. Oh, good God. Jesus. Dalot, I feel concerned. I would be if I was him. I think that position is going to get someone brought in the summer. I think that's going to be one of Manchester United's key positions. So maybe he will be looking with Ahmad on the right-hand side, wing back. And then Anthony's got to fight with, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 on that left-hand side. Because if United do go and buy a left wing back in the summer, I think it'll be a player that Ruben Amorim wants to play week in, week out. And my pick, obviously, is Alphonso Davies. I did a transfer show last night, a special video. Go and watch it after this live is finished, on players United can bring in for the right amount of money. And there is something definitely doable this summer. So don't fall into the trap of United not being able to bring anyone in this summer. I think at least 4 players can be brought in at the right price. And United can bring players in that are all better than what we've got in our current positions right now as well. So players that are looking at this game today, players that are looking at the rest of the season going forward, that position there, I feel Dalot on the left-hand side is going to be moved across and cover for Ahmad. I think them two are going to be what happens on the right-hand side. Might not be. I mean, if he goes and buys Quenda, it throws a complete spanner into the works. And this goes back to that brutal transfer policy video I did yesterday morning on Sir Jim Radcliffe and the impatience of him and wanting Manchester United to be playing better. Obviously, the whole project is based on United being successful and being able to afford to upgrade everything. Pitch, stadium, players. That only works if we're in the Champions League. So he'll do everything he possibly can to give United the best chance to hopefully stay there if we get a Europa League victory this season, or top 4. And will improve Manchester United's squad. But looking at the rest of this season, I think there are at least 5 positions on this pitch which I don't feel he feels comfortable with in terms of players, personnel, quality of player. I think he's got a 5 players that can definitely say Amorim quality, can really be relied upon every single week, and the rest is up for grabs. It is. And one of them positions is Kobbie Mainoo's position, I think, at 10 with Mason Mount. I don't see Agate or Bruno being dropped out of this side. I think Bruno should be. I think he is on that rotation. But I said this before and I'll keep saying it again. And I haven't got any context or anything to back this up. And I don't have anything that I can bring up stat-wise that's going to hold a case against this comment that I'm going to give you right now. But Bruno Fernandes, I just don't feel is going to be dropped. I think he's that player that the manager wants in his team. He has got something that nobody else has got, and every manager has proved that previously before Ruben Amorim. I feel like it's going to be Bruno Fernandes as one of the main players always. I just think he has got that energy that Ruben Amorim wants in his side, and I think he will stay there continuously every single week. I think there'll be times when he gets subbed off, yes, but if he's subbed off today, if he's not in that starting lineup today, I've got no issue with that. I think he's making a ballsy call, Ruben Amorim, and I like it. I really do. I've got no problem with Bruno being on the bench. I just feel like, and I haven't got anything to back it up, like I said, he's going to be one of them players that is always there. So if he's there, Agate's there, then Kobbie Mainoo realistically is a sub. He's a squad player. He's gone back down under Ruben Amorim to being that type of player where he should be as an 18-year-old coming through at Manchester United. He'll come in and he'll do his bits, but he'll learn alongside some of the better players in a system that's working. And he can come in, he can study that system, he can train more. Maybe Ruben Amorim wants to train Kobbie Mainoo even more. He sees more in him. And like he said before, there'll be players that train more than they will play in this system. Maybe he wants to work with Kobbie more and then integrate him in. I got no issue with that at all. That's brilliant. I think Manuel Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes are going to be difficult to dislodge, is all I'm saying. And you've got Mason Mount. I don't think Ruben will drop him. I really hope he plays him again today, and that will be a big, big statement for me. I'll be looking at that and I'll be going, honestly, I will be buzzing if Mason Mount is in this team today. I think he will be, just a player being rewarded for playing the way he did and the understanding of the system that Ruben wants to play, that will give me the biggest confidence going forward in Ruben Amorim. If Rashford starts today, I'm not going to say I'm losing hope. I'm not going to say that it's the end and we're going back to where we was. I understand the rotation system, but Mount only plays 60 minutes. He could easily do the same again today, I feel. I think that's fair for what he did. I thought he definitely had the energy that we needed. And going off all of them positions, just to go back to where Mainoo fits in, I think it's Garnacho's position. If he was looking solely at today, and if you was looking at a fully fit Kobbie Mainoo, you wanted to play him in this team today, I think he comes in for Garnacho. That's the only position I can see him starting in. And to everything that we've just said, the whole chat and everyone in the comments, and coming back to the comments now, and where we get Mainoo in, not being too disgruntled if he's not in the starting lineup, he needs to earn his way back in, what players are playing, who we think's going to play in what position. When you put it all together, there's only one spot for me today where Kobbie comes in, and that's Garnacho's. And that sounds crazy. It does, doesn't it? But I think he can play that role. I think he can play the other. I think he can play the 2 10s and the 6 and the 8. I would prefer not to be at 6, pushing to 8 max. But then again, you've got that running quality, that burst, that pressing, that intensity that Mount has got that Mainoo hasn't for me. I think Mainoo's a different type of player. So that, I feel, is the dilemma. That's where Ruben Amorim has to make some tough old decisions. Over 100 likes. We're halfway to our mark of 200 live likes. Thank you, everybody. Keep them likes coming in. Keep subscribing to Forever United TV, everyone. We've got you covered on all Manchester United news. We are talking how Kobbie Mainoo fits into this Manchester United side. Get your lineups in the chat as well. I know it's quite a bit to say and squeeze into one comment in there, but please do. Let's get into some more comments. Let's just see what we've got now. The way Amorim plays, Bruno and Mount can't play together in the inside 10 positions. One of them should be a natural winger. I don't think so. I think they can both play there. They both used to play on the wide right in front threes anyway. We know this. I don't think it's an issue. I personally would play both of them. I would like to see that tried. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think most United fans like him, but just don't like the phase he is going through. He will improve because he is a good player. That was Andrew replying to someone else there. I'm not sure who that was on. Maybe Garnacho. Yeah. Is De Ligt safe in his position? Maguire gives you much more going forward and don't lose much defending in the central role. Yeah, De Ligt is ahead of Harry Maguire, Harper. I don't know why you would feel like Harry Maguire gives more. Like, Harry Maguire is a good cover, but he's not ahead of Matthias De Ligt right now at all. Not in a million years for me. I like Maguire, credit to him for last season, but he's definitely not ahead of Matthias De Ligt. I think De Ligt understands the role. I don't think Maguire's going to have an issue in dealing with that role either. I think he will thrive in a back three. I do. But I think De Ligt is... Personally, I think learning quick, and I don't think he's put a foot wrong, really. There's been the odd moment in games where he's been done for a bit of pace or a bit of skill, but I think De Ligt's been a steady player for Manchester United, and right now we need steady players. We need players that are going to just give us that 6 and 7s every single week out of 10, and I think De Ligt is that. Greg has renewed his membership. 4 months a member. Can't wait to smash these today at a rainy Old Trafford. Step by step, we will get there. Come on, the boys. Hi, great as well. That's from Greg, who has just renewed his membership. Arsenal's on the horizon, and here comes Zane. Zane, mate, how are you, my friend? You must be dreading next week. Masterpiece yesterday. You played a shocking West Ham side, mate. You really did. But yes, it is going to be a tough game for United, Zane. Thanks for the super chats. And James Smith, welcome to the members club, who has just joined as well. Thank you for that, buddy. Really appreciate that. So keep your comments coming in, everybody. Let's get into some more of them. Try Xerxes with Højlund and Mount. Has lots of energy to press and can play the tight position. Xerxes links up really well and can hold up the ball for Rasmus. Kobbie has to accept that he's just available for selection. It's what ought to have happened under the previous head coach. That's from Graham. I kind of agree with what Graham said on that one there. I don't think that... I love Kobbie Mainoo and I think he's going to be the star of the future, but I keep saying it. He's 18. We've got plenty of time. We've got another 10 years of this guy not even... I think we've got 10 years. We could say you've got 10 years till he actually hits his absolute peak, in a way, at 28. That's scary. There's no need to panic. He's a player that will adapt, I think, and I think will learn from Ruben Amorim. And I think... even if he's not playing, I think he's going to be getting better with the way that Ruben talks. I think he is going to get more time on the training ground and time to learn his role. And I think Ruben has got time to work with Kobbie Mainoo where he hasn't with other players. And I think that ultimately, in balancing what he said, in getting players to understand the system while winning games, I think there are certain players that we know are going to be leaving in the summer that he needs to get more out of instantly, I feel. I think Kobbie Mainoo, will just learn and get better in time. I don't think he's concerned with Kobbie Mainoo, and I think that conversation would have already been had personally. I do believe that we're in a good place. Wayne was the comment about Xerxes before that one from Graham as well, so thank you for them, guys. Let's get a few more. We've got a couple more super chats. Adam, 50 quid bet, we win. Come on, that is, do you know what? I'll leave it up to the... I'll leave it up to the subscribers and the people in the chat. Should I take on Zane's bet of 50 quid? United can beat Arsenal. Or is that just a bit too heavy-handed from Zane? Everyone in the chat, get your comments in on that one. And let me know, should I take on Zane's bet on that one? Everyone just keep it's a tough bet, that. I mean, seriously, I don't mind a little bit of a bit of banter and a gamble every now and then, but I'm going to need some backing on this one. You're going to have to convince me, everyone. So we'll give it to the end of the show, and then I'll let you know if I'll take Zane's bet on. Blitz has a great touch. Can't beat men for fun. Amorim says he can receive between the lines, so he obviously not as bad as you think, but we all have our own opinions, and that's what makes it fun. Who's Blitz, by the way? I don't know who Blitz is. Is that a typo? I've missed something there. Another super chat in from Ravel Burns. Thank you, mates. So much talk about Garnacho lately. I think the coach loves him at 10. Even said he finds great pockets of space and has played him 180 minutes so far. It's a point to make. A gifted membership from James Smith. Thank you, James. That has gone to Colonel. Welcome to the Members Club. Make sure that you do give a big thank you in the live chat as well to anyone who has donated any memberships to you. Don't take the bet. No, don't take the bet. Take the bet. There's quite a few. We'll judge it by the end. Liaf has put his team in. He has gone with Anana, Shaw, Delitz, Yoro, Mount, Agate, Mainoo, and Mazraoui, Ghana, Højlund, Ahmad. So he's playing. Right, so he's going Ahmad and Mazraoui at wing backs. He's going with Delitz, Yoro, and Shaw at the back. What? That is mixing it up. No Martinez. Jesus. I think Mazraoui will be at centre back again today. Personally, I really do. I think he will. Wayne says Anana, Mazraoui, Delitz, Martinez, Antony. Ooh, Bruno, Agate, Ahmad, Xerxes, Højlund, and Mount. United will win 3-0. Mount to score, Højlund to get 2. Is there enough players in that team there? Like Anana, Mazraoui, Delitz, Martinez. And then you've got Anthony, Bruno, Agate, and Ahmad. Xerxes, Højlund, and Mount. Well, no, that's right. Xerxes and Ahmad. Sorry, Xerxes and Mount behind Højlund with Ahmad and Anthony either side as wing backs. It's energetic. I can't see that team being picked, but there's no reason why it shouldn't. Adam, don't let your heart rule your head, pal. I think that's in relation to that bet. Block is in. Madry money, mate. That's what that is. It is Madry money, but I've still not got Madry on tap in my stand. It's ridiculous. How can the Sir Alex Ferguson stand not have Madry on tap? Alfie's working at Old Trafford now, everybody, by the way. Alfie's working in the away section behind the bar at Old Trafford, and they're pulling pints. I don't even have the opportunity to have a pint. All I've got is plastic bottles of Carling. What the hell is going on at Old Trafford, seriously? I mean, that's a joke. How some people are getting treated differently. We all pay the same bleeding money. Well, actually, no. We don't all pay the same money, but still, come on. Give me some decent beer to drink, for God's sake. Adam, isn't it nice that for once we have lots of choices for the team? Honestly, it feels brilliant, Andrew. I love it. Paul says, always a chance of beating Arsenal, but tough ask if it's only his fourth game. Yes, in terms of taking Zane's bet on, keep them coming in, everybody. At the moment, I'm veering towards being very cautious about that one. I mean, Arsenal have just come off the back of 2 wins, scoring 10 goals. United's got a manager that's going to only be in his 4th game in charge. We are looking a bit better, but not on Arsenal's level. It would be a great bet. I think he should give me more, to be honest. I think Zane needs to make that bet a bit sweet. If he's that confident, he should be giving me 50 and I should be giving him 20 or something like that. I think that's what it should be. I think that evens it up a little bit. Can of Doom are for me in the Bobby Charlton stand. Can of Doom. Oh, sounds a bit posh. Euro is the missing piece, hopefully, says Colonel. I don't think we're missing too much, but I think he will give United something else. I think he really will. I think Lenny Yoro will definitely be a permanent fixture when he breaks into the side. I know we're talking about Kobbie Mainoo, 18. Yoro's the same age, 18, but still, I feel like Yoro has been brought in to be a part of this, and he probably will be the future of Manchester United. We're almost at 150 on the like counter, everybody. Keep them likes coming in. Let's get as many as we can. We want 200 while we're live. That is your target. If we get 200 live likes, United will win 2-0 today. We get a goal for every 100 likes we get on this show, and that's a guarantee. I'm telling you right now. The Christmas tree's up. I'm telling you. That's what's going to happen today. When Yoro back, it will be Mazraoui at right wing back. Could possibly be. United to win 4-1. Come on, United. Don't have to beat the Arsenal to get top 4. Don't we have to beat the Arsenal to get top 4? We have to beat everyone in our way to get top 4, Almac. Yes. But we do realise and we do know that we are going to lose games on this road under Amorim. I mean, we will definitely win more than we lose, but there are certain games that you look at and go, maybe we're just not quite ready. And I've got a special on Tuesday night with a special guest on ahead of the Arsenal game as well, so you don't want to miss that. We're bringing you all of the content. We're bringing you all of the content as we go forward, so mixing it up every single show. So make sure that you're tuned in for that one on Tuesday night. I don't think Ruben has a dilemma. He's got loads of options to choose from. No, that's a dilemma on its own, mate. It's who comes out for certain players. I think that's the dilemma and what we're talking about more. Another super chat. Thank you. Ravel says, Chan Shaw stays fit and keeps Leacher out of the team. It's a question. Guy is mint and looks so natural when playing. Plus heavy links with Branthwaite again. Maybe Leacher a replacement. I don't think Leacher's going to be replaced. Look, if you were to ask me honestly, when everyone's fit, everyone's in, going into the start of next season, with the transfer window obviously in play as well, do I feel like all of these Manchester United centre-backs right now that we've got available are safe and I could call out one of them to be a guaranteed starter? No. I don't think so under Amorim. I think he might go out and buy another centre-back. I think then, with the rotation system, I don't think there's any centre-back at Manchester United that we could safely say is a guaranteed starter right now. And I think that's just me being brutally honest. That's Leacher, that's De Ligt, that's Yoro, that's Shaw, that's Mazraoui, who've all played there right now. I'm looking at Maguire coming back. I'm looking at what Evans can bring us in certain games to rest players out. I don't think there's anyone that says to me, and I do believe that Mazraoui is a mainstay, and I think he is a go-to. He's that good. But I think he's adaptable and could play in different positions as well. So I'm only saying he is going to be a guaranteed starter because of his versatility more than anything else. So, yeah. That's how I see it. But no, I don't think Yoro's guaranteed. I don't think De Ligt. I don't think Martinez is guaranteed. I just feel like there is lots of options for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim right now. And I think he needs to utilise all of them. And going into next season, I think a lot of it will be determined off how players actually perform from now until the end of the season in this squad. Who leaves in January? I don't think anyone will leave in January unless it's completely obvious. The only player I could see leaving in January is Victor Lindelof. Maybe Anthony on loan, but I think he wants to use Anthony. If he's going to keep doing what he's doing, I think everyone stays. I don't think anyone gets sold in January, personally. I think we write off the window. There may be some clever deal that we could make that we'll be looking at and keeping our eyes on just in case, but still, I just don't see anything happening in January. It just doesn't make sense, does it? For what you need and what you've got there right now, I don't think Manchester United will be looking to... I don't think we'll be letting anyone go, personally. I just don't think we've got it. Bruno is intelligent enough to play in any position. Ruben asked him to play when he has set positions, says IK. Block, who has just renewed his membership. Thank you. See you later, pal. We'll come and say hello. Hopefully this rain comes off. Thanks for that, Block. Appreciate that, buddy. It's nice to have... it's nice to not have to force Mainoo and Yoro back in early and know they are 100% when they start again. That's a very, very good point, that from You Got Raws there. Absolutely nailed that one, mate. What's we got there? One. By the end of this month, Amorim will know his best 11, but will adapt for certain games. I think that's a fair enough comment, Dom. I think he will have a good idea who his best 11 is. Xerxes loaned out, hopefully, and maybe a loan in a striker, says Darryl, in terms of the transfer window. Total Football TV says best bet with Zayn is for United to get a draw. Would be a decent result for United at this stage. Yeah, he needs to put a little bit more behind his boldness, doesn't he? That's what he needs to do. So United get a draw, Arsenal get a win. That should be the bet. That's what we should be doing. I wanted to just talk quickly about Kobbie Mainoo as well. Just a quick shout out there. He's posted it on social media. He scored again yesterday. He has now become the all-time leading goal scorer at under 18 level throughout history, basically. Kobbie Mainoo has broke the record yesterday for goals scored at under 18 level. Obviously, under 18s, you move on then when you get to 18 to the under 21s, and then that stops. But at this level right now, we have a record breaker in our ranks in Kobbie Mainoo. I think he's on 6 goals already for the under 18s this season. He's still not played a full 90 minutes yet, and I think he started 3, maybe 4 of them games that he has played. I think he's only had 3 starts, I'm pretty certain. 3 or 4, possibly. Anyway, in the games that he has played for the under-18 specifically. And he's now the record-breaking striker amount of goals scored at that level. Well done to Kobbie Mainoo. Has just signed his first professional contract at 17 on Friday. And we have got this to look forward to coming into the future. I think that's something that we need to look at as well. You're looking at Kobbie Mainoo, and we're all talking about this guy. Maybe he's going to break into the side at some point. Maybe he's still raw and too young. But he's only a year behind Kobbie Mainoo, who's already being talked about being a mainstay in Manchester United's midfield. And that goes back to the conversation we were having earlier on. Talking about not needing to rush Yoro, not needing to rush Kobbie Mainoo back into this side. Let them go at their own pace. Let them adapt. Let them learn at their own pace. Get more out of them players by treating them the way that you should be treated as teenagers. I think that's important, that these players learn at their own pace and not be thrust in and forced to perform at a certain level because other professional footballers that should be doing the job have been failing in front of them. The expectation level and what the fans are expecting from performance-wise from these players, I think is unfair. We'd love to see performances. We will obviously dissect and criticise certain decisions that are made by players therein, the first team. They have to accept that they are going to get this critique. They have to accept the pressure that comes their way. And unfortunately, they have to deal with that. They shouldn't, but that's just the way it is. When you come through at United, unfortunately for them, they have to accept what comes their way, which is a shed load of critique, a shed load of pressure and expectation. And it's down to the club to manage it. I now feel like Ruben Amorim is in a position where he is going to manage these players. He is going to get the best out of these players his way. I feel like this is where the confidence is coming from the fan base. It's like we've got a man in who isn't afraid to make the big calls and isn't afraid to desperately abandon his whole philosophy because things are not going right. And Ineos do need to back Ruben Amorim on this as well. We said this many a times, but still, we'll see. Proof is in the pudding. Let's get into some more comments. Can we start a GoFundMe to raise Rashford's contract agreement and pay him off to leave? Kobbie Mainoo is 6'2". He isn't that far off senior football. I know he's 6'2". He is a beast. A lot of these players do develop quicker. I mean, Kokonki, the centre back, is an absolute monster. He is 6'5" at 16. And he is seen as one of them players that is going to break in, I think, to the under-21s definitely, and then we may see him on match days again. I don't know. There's lots of players there, but let's not forget, we've got a lot of players in front of him, and there's no need for them players to come through yet. I think loans are important for good players in Man United's academy now. I don't think we should necessarily be expecting our academy players that are crushing it at academy level to just come straight into the United side. It's exciting, and I love it, but I think we need to structure it better now. The academy should not be touched unless it is pure, raw talent that is absolutely killing it in under-21 level. Let's not forget, under-18s to under-21s, that's a step up on its own. That's a different ball game altogether because you've got more developed players who have had a taste and possibly even been out on loan and had more experience than under-18 level. Everyone at under-18 level is at the same point. All they play is teams that are under-18s. When you go into under-21s, you've got players that have played against proper first-team players that have been out on loan. You've got players that are fully developed. They've got 3 more years behind them. It's a big difference. I think we need to see Kobbie Mainoo at under-21 level first, and I think that's what the next step is. That's his pathway that has been set out for him at Manchester United. I think that's where we're going with it. So I think that we're going to see that sort of development first. And I don't want these players to be thrust in and then just crash and burn. It's not fair on them. And I think we are going to now, with what's in there with Wilcox and Cox as well, and everyone involved, Nick Cox in the academy, I think these players will be brought through the right way, with the right pathway. I think that's more important. But yeah, he is a beast. He's doing brilliantly. It's great for United. He will be chomping at the bit to get in. He will. He'll think that he should be playing there, and that's what we want. We want that mindset in the player. But it's time for the structure to actually take these decisions away from these players, take these decisions out of their hands, and just say, no, this is your pathway. You need to be patient in it. You're not just going to make it just off the back of some goals in under-18s. And I don't want to dishearten people or dishearten him or anything like that in the way that we're talking, but I think it's the more realistic way of looking at things. So let's just look at that. Let's give them the time. Let's let them adapt. Like we're talking about Garnacho and Mainoo getting their bits and bobs and getting into Manchester United side here and there and developing. We've got to do it the same way as we can. We've got to do it the same way with the academy players coming through as well. Like, no need to rush them in, is what I say. Let's see what else we've got. I really like Marcus, but it's pretty clear he's not interested in enjoying football anymore. It's just a means to an end now. It's sad to. It's a means to an end now. It's sad to see. It is. I mean, there's a lot going around again. Like another clip going around when he came on off the bench last night. People are going to pick up on these things. They are, and that's everyone's opinions. But he doesn't help himself at all, Marcus Rashford. He really doesn't. And I'm sure you've seen the clip of when he was coming on. It looked like Ruben Amorim told him to take the gloves off or something like that. I don't know if he did. If he did, if he didn't. The bigger point was there was a guy stood next to him, one of the coaches or one of the guys helping out. And instead of passing him the gloves, he just threw them on the floor for him a foot away for him to pick up off the floor. There's disrespect and there's levels and there's common courtesy that even if you are a superstar, it just doesn't look like a nice person to be around. And like I said, it looks like I'm having a go at him again, and people will go down that road if you've just got a complete agenda against him. If you keep doing these things, more people will look at him in a different way. He just doesn't look like a nice person to be around right now, and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, it's a bit of nothing. It is, but it goes a long way with people. If you're looking to endear yourself to the fans, to the club, to the manager, to the staff, whoever, then you're going at it completely the wrong way, Marcus. And that, I feel, is where he's at right now. Sell Rashford, sell Garnacho will raise a lot of money, then bring in Alphonso Davies and Kvaratskhelia, and the team will be dramatically improved. Garnacho, unfortunately, isn't the player people make out. He's 19 again, and we need to remember this, and he still is putting up numbers this season. Let him develop. I don't think we need to be looking to sell Garnacho yet. Plus, Alphonso Davies is a free transfer, so we don't need to raise much money. Can I afford to lose 50 quid? Not really, mate, no. Adam Rashford was rushed into the team too young. He peaked at 23. Could say that. I mean, he wasn't even supposed to be the man coming in on that game for Van Gaal. I'm pretty certain it was Fletcher who was ahead of him, I think, at the time. And he just got thrust in. He made his mark instantly. Then he got 4 goals in 2 games, and that was it. Everyone just got carried away. Don't get me wrong, like, he's had a good career. He's been outstanding in certain games and certain points of his career for Man United, but I do believe that now is past him. I think Rashford, whether or not he was in too early, he's seen the lights, he's seen the bright lights, he thinks he's already made it. It just comes across that way, doesn't it? It does comes across like he's done, like he doesn't care. And that's just his whole demeanour. You can only judge of what you see, because he never talks. He never does an interview. He never does post-match or pre-match. He doesn't talk to the club TV anymore. He's basically isolating himself away. When people don't know or we don't hear from him, and instead of choosing to do an interview with the club and keep it down, and he goes to the player tribune and does that one in all of his bling. That was the last time we heard anything from Marcus Rashford. This is your most senior player, a man that's got Manchester United at his heart, but never does any interviews, never does any correspondence at all, speaks to the fans or anything on interview. He just doesn't do nothing. I just don't get it. It's like something's gone wrong behind the scenes. Something is drastically not right there, and I think that is a concern for him and all Manchester United fans right now, because he's a player that you'd expect to be in this team, giving absolutely everything, and he's just not. There's just something really wrong. No, Graham, it's not them in terms of special guest. I do have a great guest on Tuesday night live ahead of the Arsenal game. He's a massive Arsenal fan. I'm looking forward to it. Childish is what Rashford is at the moment. True. I keep telling you all that Marcus Rashford is the Alan inversion of football. The Alan inversion of football. He's nothing more than a ghetto. Winston Eiffel. Adam Amorim, only 2 games in. He's going to give everyone a couple of chances until he knows who can play for him. He's doing that now. We know he is. Which is why I don't think anybody's going to be sold in January. I think he needs Anthony. I do. For instance, Anthony's quality, you can go in on it all day long. Is he good enough? No, he's not. Certain areas. But what can Anthony do to help Manchester United and Amorim right now? He can do what he did against Bodo Glimt. He can take a player that needs to be rested out of the side because he understands a role, and he can come in a lesser game and give a player a rest. He can give someone half an hour off in a game and just go up and down that wing like an Energizer bunny and do a job. He has got qualities. He's a professional footballer. He can cover a wing-back position for 25-30 minutes for a Ahmad, Adalo, whoever on each side, do a job for you and let that player rest and properly recover. That's what you need in a squad. Not every player, because he's on the pitch, is going to do it for you. Some players are used to rest other players. The rotation system works and freshens players up because you've got players there that are invested in. When you isolate players and you never play them, you don't get maximum out of them. Right now, like we said, clean slate, and the clean slate won't last forever with Ruben Amorim. It won't. We know this. But still, what you're looking at here is players that are all invested into this now. So when Anthony comes on and he gets minutes, he may get minutes today. He's going to give absolutely everything, knowing that, you know what, I've got a chance of getting even more minutes in the next game. And then the next game. He's going to keep playing. Like, if he did that for Ten Hag, he'd been out for another 4 weeks. We're not even getting anywhere near the starting lineup. And he's just demoralised. Controlling a squad is the hardest part in a coach's job or a manager's job. Keeping everybody on track, keeping everybody feeling like they're involved in what is going on. That's the hardest part for a coach or a manager to handle at a football club, I feel. And I think he's got everybody on board right now. Who'd have thought we'd have seen a game that we needed to win in Europe with Antony, Mount and Malacia all starting in when everyone's fit? Who'd have thought that? That's what needs to happen. And you know what? He may not be the best player. He may not bring more than the player that he's replaced. But what he will do is give that player the chance to recover and rest. And that's what rotation is. That's what rotation is. It is lashing it down here. God, this better stop before the bleeding game. God, there's a protest, obviously, as well at Old Trafford today. We'll try and bring you as much footage of that and what's going on. Stay tuned. Make sure you keep an eye out on the shorts as well on the channel so you are up to date with everything that's going on around Old Trafford. 200 live likes. Absolutely brilliant show. Thank you so much, everybody. And on that note, we are going to end it there. Matchday is here, everybody. Extra long show this morning just to go over everything. There won't be a road trip today because of it being such short turnaround time. So we've covered everything in there today. Today's result, by the way, everybody. Get them in the chat right now, quickly before we finish. 2-1 to United for me. That's where we're going. I think United are going to get this. Not going to be easy. I think 2-1 win for United. Get the 3 points. Get into that top 10. That's what's important today. We could finish as high as 9th, I think, today, going off the Fulham game. Obviously, Fulham, Spurs, 2 teams ahead of us again. Results haven't gone too bad for us so far. The interesting one is Villa and Chelsea as well, who are playing at the same time as us today. That will be really interesting. There's a chance by the end of today that Manchester United could be in the top 10 and City could be out of the top 4. Let that sink in. And tell me this isn't a crazy season where anything can happen. And on that note, please give the video a like on the way out. Please make sure you've hit that subscribe button. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. I will see you in the comments. I will see you outside Old Trafford later on. We are going to get wet, but hopefully we're cheering on a Manchester United win. 3 points. The Ruben Amorim train continues. Have a great morning, everybody. Go get your coffee. Go get yourself prepared. Go get yourself comfortable. Match day is here, people. See you all later.